There's a DNA lab in Virginia that's breathing new life into cold cases, including one right here in Anne Arundel County.
We got a new program. It's called Snapshot, and it's showing detectives images that they've never seen before. ABC 2 News' Skylar Henry joins us right now with a look at how this all works. Skylar?
Yeah, Jamie, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie. DNA from a crime scene is being used to create renderings of people based off their biological traits. The final outcome helping detectives narrow their search in otherwise cold cases.
And so in the composite,
inside an unassuming office in Reston, Virginia, a small team is turning over huge findings.
as people have seen that we're helping solve 25-year-old cases, they're saying, well, what about that case we had last week or last month or last year? You know, recent cases that you don't get a hit in the database right off the start.
The work is piling in for Dr. Ellen McCrae-Graytek. She's the director of bioinformatics at Parabon Nanolabs, a budding DNA technology company that's created a snapshot of perhaps the future of police criminal investigations.
In the cases we're working on, usually they don't have that information, because if they did, they'd already have an idea of who they were looking for.
The information Graytek is speaking of is a missing clue investigators wouldn't know they needed, a digital composite based off the smallest samples of DNA, from a drop of blood to a single hair follicle. The Snapshot program is jump-starting decades-old unsolved police cases.
It's very specifically looking at particular parts of the DNA that we know code for differences in appearance.
With this DNA evidence, it may point us in the right direction of someone that maybe lived in the area that maybe saw these people prior.
Anne Arundel County Police homicide detective R.J. Price is hoping the snapshot will help solve the 8-year-old cold case death of Michael Temple Jr., a victim who stabbed his attacker before he was shot. The blood left behind serving as the link to putting a face on the killer.
We're predicting traits. We predict, here's this person's likely eye color, their skin color, hair color, the amount of freckles on their face, and then the shape of their face. You know, does this person have a wider jaw or a pointier nose, things like that.
The samples of DNA are sent to a third-party lab. The results are then fed to computers at Parabon for scientists to put into the Snapshot system. From there, a digital artist creates the final result, a lifelike composite that allows police to narrow their search or lead them down a new direction.
The point is, the vast majority of people in the world are not going to match that. So if you gave a police department that sketch or that composite, there would be a lot of people that they could eliminate from their suspect list.
A filter that's helping dozens of departments. Now, Parabon has seen about 150 cases since they started the program. It cost about $3,600 for every one of these cases. And it's not just a luxury. Snapshot has helped investigators solve cases in New Mexico, North Carolina, and even Texas. So, guys, they're taking all of this. They're hoping that this helps solve that case of Michael Temple Jr., who was shot back in 2010. They found that blood sample, as you saw in the piece there, and they came up with a composite of what they think this guy may look like. And it's the first time detectives have ever seen anything like this.
Because they were wearing masks, right?
Correct. They were wearing masks before.
Did Dad see this photo?
Dad saw this photo.
Recognize?
He didn't know who it was, but he's hoping that somebody out there knows something, because that area, apparently, a lot of people know everyone.
Yeah.
Neighbors, Odenton, small town. So he's hoping that somebody recognizes that face and comes forward.
And it's pretty precise, correct? Because that lady, you said that was her.
Yeah, that lady that you saw there that we interviewed, she used a hair follicle of herself, and then used that, put it into the third-party lab, came back, put it into the system, that Snapshot system, and it looked exactly like her.
Okay, I'm a family. I'm a father sitting watching this tonight. My son has been murdered. Am I calling the police first thing in the morning, getting this technology?
Absolutely. As I mentioned over our Facebook Live that we did, this is a $3,600 program for you and I, but this may be something that a police department may have an extra, surplus budget that they have, and they can use something like this for their cold cases to try and put new life into these cold cases.
Oh, great. How long has this company been in business?
Okay, so Snapshot, the program itself has only been around for a couple of years. The company itself The same thing. Literally, it's a startup. One of those things came up in like right 2010, 2011. They came up with this idea. They linked up with the Anne Arundel County Police Department at one of those conventions, and that's how they've all kind of linked together. And as I mentioned before, it's not just the luxury. It's helping police actually solve these cases all around the country.
So hopefully Baltimore City and Baltimore County and
Absolutely.
Howard County and some of these other jurisdictions are watching as well.
Absolutely.
All right.